I'm gonna close my eyes real quick and tell you guys some shit. I fell asleep last night to what was life like for a medieval guy, like medieval. First, I watched a video on King Henry VIII. Learned a lot about him. I don't even know why. I'm sick. I don't want to do anything. I watched a video on what was life like as a medieval peasant, like in a town. It was fucking doo-doo. Here's the thing, right? Like, I don't even think, I'm a hot take here. I don't even think life was worth living until like 1990. Because what was the point? Okay, maybe not 1990. I'll go back further. Like at least electricity. Because okay, let me tell you what the life was like for like a medieval peasant. Like, and I'm telling you, this was most motherfuckers. Okay, bro wakes up. He smells like shit. He's in a fucking straw bed. Wakes up, gets ready. Okay, I want to put on, I bought this nice leather from the market. I saved up for it. Incorrect. You can't wear it. Did you know nobility controlled what you could wear? You could not wear certain colors. You could not wear certain furs. You could not, even if you were able to come into those clothing, you were not allowed to wear it unless you were a noble, unless you had a title. There was all these different rules because being rich was so status, and they wanted to they did everything they could to separate rich from poor, right? So you would put on your dirty, muddy piece of shit clothing, and you'd get up and you'd go start fucking tilling the farm, whatever it is, right? Oh, what's that? Ding, ding. Church bell. Stop what you're fucking doing. You have to pray. I don't care if you don't believe. It doesn't matter. Stop what you're doing. You have to pray. Get back to work. You're exhausted. What's that? Church bell. I'm behind on my duties. It don't matter. Stop what you're doing. It's time to pray. Work day's over. I've worked my ass off. I'm exhausted. I barely get enough money. Okay. I got nothing. I'm starving. What's waiting for me at home? Cabbage fucking boiled soup and maybe a little bit of like dried fish. You want meat? Too fucking bad. Oh, well, I'm actually skilled. I can go catch, there's a rabbit 20 feet from the house. Nope, motherfucker. That rabbit is owned by the noble guy who owns this whole plot of land. And if you catch that rabbit, you're poaching, you're stealing from that person. And it doesn't even matter, right? He's not going to know the rabbit's gone. But if you get caught, they're going to fine you so much that you'll never be able to pay it off. Best case, or worst case, you lose your fucking hand. These nobles go out and they'll hunt just for sport. A whole with crossbows. They'll kill so many deer. They just let the bodies burn. They don't even need the food. Okay. And then you come home, you eat shit. You don't get anything. You're never going to make it out the hood. There's no opportunity for elevating your class. You're going to die poor, and hopefully you die old, but you're going to die poor is what's going to happen. Then 8 p.m. lights out. I don't care if you're not tired. I don't care if nothing. Every single fire has to be put out in town, in the poor communities, to help prevent fires. So what do? It's pitch black. It smells like shit. There's mystery puddles. There's fucking chickens. You just sit there and wait till you're tired. And it's like that every single day, bro. And guess what? You see in the distance, in a castle and shit, they're vibing. They don't play by the rules. The lights are still on. They're drinking. They're eating. They're wearing purple and shit. You don't get any of that. That's the whole day. That's 6 days a week. What are you doing after 8 p.m.? No, fucking nothing. You sit there like an asshole. Maybe you want to be a fucking baker. So what do? You're like, I want to open my own fucking bakery. Wrong. The guild comes and kills your mom. Nope. You got to go through the guilds. You want to be a blacksmith? Go to the guild. It's crazy, bro. What game is he talking about? Fucking real life, buddy. You made me cry. I'm talking about real life. So you want to be a baker, bro? Okay, check this. You go to the guild. You get an apprenticeship, maybe, sweeping the bakery's floor for the next 7 years. You got to sweep a floor for 7 years for the chance to make a fucking loaf of bread? Dude, you couldn't even wear purple, bro. You could not even wear purple. Sundays was church day. You had to go even if you don't believe, right? And at the very least, Sundays was the chance where you didn't have to work. But let's say you were behind on your work and you needed to get your work done to be able to pay your bills. They would snitch on each other. They would, if you got caught working on a Sunday, other fucking farmers would snitch you out, and then you'd have to go to church and be shamed. Shit was fucked, bro. It's dumb. I'm looking back on this shit, and I'm just like, I don't think that life was worth living until Adderall came out. Or what year did Tylenol get invented? Like, I don't think life was worth living then. Quality of life was lower than my current house cat. Like, if you right now took a human being and forced them to live like a medieval, you would be considered a monster. You would be sentenced to life, and that person would be liberated. Motherfuckers just living like that back then. Am I losing my mind? Is this stupid? Am I saying the dumbest shit right now, or am I making any sense? Also, be rich in any period. So the rich back then were living way more chill. Way more chill. Poor people back then were like cattle. Quality of life was just, you're alive, so your quality of life is alive. I mean, listen, I grew up poor, and my growing up poor, the quality of life was still immeasurably better than peasant in medieval time. You know what I mean? And I grew up poor. It's fucked up. It's all about perspective. Well, these idiots, you know what? I feel bad for them because their shit was whack, and they were not alive long enough to even know their shit was whack. Like, shit was ass, bro. You'll be a peasant in 2,000 years and people will talk about it like, no, but like, okay, hold on, pause. I understand shit will get way better in 2,000 years. Like, no shit, it will be so much better. But they won't be able to look back and be like, oh, that motherfucker couldn't even wear purple. Like, they'll look back and be like, oh, they didn't even have access to the mega orgasm chip in your brain. Like, yeah, okay, fine. But here's the thing. I'm not looking back on these guys going, they don't even know what it feels like to play Tarkov. I'm talking about basic human necessities, right? That they don't understand. Like, another example, right? Just bathing yourself was a thing. Getting the option to not have to be religious. That's a luxury. Refrigeration, I'm not talking technology, just talking basic human necessities, right? Oh, dude, you just got me thinking. Do you want to know how fucking trial was back then? Retarded, bro. And I'm using that word so appropriately. Getting accused of a crime was brain rot. It was so dumb. You're accused of a crime, and we don't know if you did it. We don't have cameras. We don't have witnesses. So we're going to have you hold a hot rod in your hand, and it's going to fucking burn the shit out of your hand. Very bad. In 3 days, if you don't have like a horrible infection, that means God spared you, which means you're innocent. And if you have a horrible infection and will die, then God decided that you were the criminal and God spoke. And it's just like, it took them a long time to figure that shit out. But like, how many motherfuckers died that way? Immune system. Not only that, you weren't clean though. Like, even in today's society, if you got a bad burn, even with today's modern cleanliness, you might still get an infection and still need to go to the doctor. But imagine you're just rolling around in pig shit. Wait, that shit's mostly a myth. What video was this? Yo, do you have more information than me? I would love to learn more about medieval stuff if you got it.
If you're watching this, it's because you've recently acquired a time machine and are thinking about visiting Europe during the Middle Ages.
I know what this guy's dealing with. His hair, when you shave it short enough, it just looks like a weird ball. It's so tough having hair like that.
Choice, but it will present you with some challenges. So I'm going to give you some advice here, what to look out for and some things to think about before you go.
Someone in chat just said owl, and that's so true. This man looks like if an owl was cursed to be a human for the day.
This can't be comprehensive.
God, he looks so much like an owl.
You'll have to do a lot of your own research, especially about the particular time and place that you're going to go to. Okay, so first of all, health. Health is going to be a big concern. You will need to get vaccinated for everything you can, and even then it won't be enough. You will very likely get sick. Especially, you have to worry about GI issues, gastrointestinal infections.
GI.
As someone coming in with, shall I say, a naive gut, you will very likely your body will have a reaction to the native biome that will be present in the food and water that you're consuming. Also, many parts of Europe in the Middle Ages had malaria, so you will also need to take anti-malaria medicine, especially if you're in the southern part of Europe. I don't think that's an issue in medieval England, but I actually don't know for sure, so you'll need to check up on that if that's your destination. Anyway, just something.
What was going on in India during this time?
Another important consideration is personal safety, and this is going to be
Let me bring a Glock.
big deal too. You really have to put a lot of thought into this. Travel in a group. Don't travel alone. And the reason I say that is there are a lot of bad actors, and not everyone is going to be a bad actor. Most of them are going to be totally cool people. They're not going to try to hurt you, but there are plenty of people who will do you harm. Crime.
That was kind of my thought, is that with how the world worked, with what I was learning, why wouldn't you just be a fucking criminal? And I know people are going to apply this to modern day, but here's the reality. Back then, it sounds like literally the best option. Even if you get caught and die, I feel like that's just the better option. Get really good at PvPing.
Is rampant, especially like petty crime, personal theft, things like that.
That was the other thing too. You could do trials by combat. If you were the dude, if you were just really good at with your sword, like you're just good.
But muggings, or what we would call muggings today, are not uncommon. That's especially something that travelers
They
need
would
to worry
torture
about,
you?
because a traveler
just tough
is
it
away
out.
from his support network. And this comes to a really big difference between the way a modern society works and the way a medieval society works. In a medieval society, you were protected by being part of a social network, by being part of a group that you were connected with, and that group provided protection for you. And it might be a peer network, like if you're a merchant, being connected with a broader community of merchants through, say, a guild or some other organization. That was your support network. Also, your family was actually a more important support network. Having cousins and brothers and sisters and nephews, and having this like extended family.
So we need friends
where people are looking out for each other. That was the main protection that people had from violent crime. If someone were thinking about doing harm to you, they would have to think about having repercussions, having retaliation, dealing with retaliation from your family or your broader support
like
network.
little countries.
And the support network can take different forms. So there's family, there's your peer network of your colleagues in your field, in your profession. There's also hierarchical support networks.
Your shooters.
Like households. So if you're a member of a nobleman's household, if someone were to mess with you, they knew that they were going to possibly have to deal with your entire household, or the nobleman that you were a part of. When you took on work with somebody, you were considered to be under their protection. A serf in a rural area was considered to be under the protection of the lord that he worked under. All relationships in the medieval world, in medieval Europe, worked in these kind of ways where people were enmeshed in social webs with each other. And no one was an individual. Everyone was part of a group, and actually of multiple groups in different ways. And it was that enmeshing of the social network that held society together. From that arose a lot of the practices, a lot of the kind of issues that you would come up as a traveler. I'll be getting to some of these issues later on in the video.
Let's hear it.
But one of these considerations is people in the Middle Ages had a deterrent against crime. It wasn't a perfect deterrent, but in the case of a roving band of bandits or thieves or whatever who might want to try to take advantage of you, beat you up in the road and take your stuff, they would do that if they thought they could get away with it, if they thought they didn't have to worry about retaliation. So traveling alone wasn't necessary.
Okay, here's what I don't understand though. Why can't I just do that and then disappear and cut my beard? Like if I see you're in the forest with your boys, I'm medieval guy and I got my medieval homies with me, and we roll up and we just pop, 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 pop. We rob you, we take your shit, we bury you. I shave my beard, I roll into town, I go, I don't know what the fuck I don't know who that guy is. You can. What's going to stop you?
Wasn't usually a good idea. And that would vary actually from place to place and time to time, especially if you had a situation where, there were some periods of time in the Middle Ages where if there were a lot of famines, or if there was a succession of bad harvest years that drove a lot of people into destitution, drove a lot of people out of the countryside into the cities looking for a better life. And then they get to the city and they can't find anything to do there. They turn to crime. So at certain times, certain periods of time, certain places, the threat of violent crime was higher than at others.
Because your town has 200 people? Bro, I go to a different town though. Why wouldn't I just go to a different town?
Just be on your guard all the time. Travel in a group, because if you go by yourself, you're a target. It's really common in the Middle Ages for people to carry protection, and you should definitely do that. Carry a dagger. Learn how to use it. If you don't know how to use a sword, don't bring a sword, because you don't want to. Because you won't know what you're doing. A dagger or some kind of knife, just something to help protect you if someone attacks you physically.
Imagine rolling up to this with like a Gushers, like a little package of Gushers. Bro, that would fuck their whole year up. Kings would be cutting little Gushers in half just to... Oh my God. Fruit by the foot, medieval time. That'd be crazy, bro. Give him a McDonald's Sprite.